So as we think about purpose, one of the things that I think is quite interesting is that so many companies are focused on driving as many transactions and as many product purchases as possible. And, we kind of get caught in this conspicuous consumption kind of mindset. But, I think there's a lot to be learned from curation and sort of considered purchases. And I'm really excited to be speaking with Karla Gallardo, co-founder and CEO of Cuyana, and really sort of diving into the thoughtfulness behind the way that they've constructed their brand. So thank you for joining us at Retail Innovation Week, Karla.
Thanks, Scott. It's a pleasure.
So at the core of Cuyana, you're promoting the opposite of conspicuous, which is conscious consumerism, buying fewer, better things. If we think about the big challenges that the fashion industry specifically faces, what are you kind of trying to sort of reconsider with the way that you've approached things with Cuyana?
Yeah, you mentioned, a few things that really were the anchor of how Cuyana started. And I mean, it really centers around intentionality and making that the core value of our business. The consumer is used to buying more and thinking more is more. And really that's what the retail industry has done, right? To promote their products and sell more. But ultimately, there are just very few products around us that we truly love and use. And the Cuyana brand was built around that. It was built around fewer, better. The challenges that the industry faces really are big when you think more is more. Supply chains are built to make a lot of product and then discard a lot of product. And consumers are taught to buy a lot and also then discard a lot. And that has a big impact on the planet. So there's a lot of learning and undoing that needs to happen to get to a place where the mindset of fewer, better, of being intentionally is actually embedded in the way that we shop and in the way that we sell.
That's fantastic. I love that sort of idea of, there's education that needs to happen on both fronts, from a sort of industry or, sort of brand perspective, and then also from a consumer perspective. And so, I think storytelling is a big component of, how you've kind of structured your business. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the way that plays a role within the context of, how consumers understand the value proposition that you're offering.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you look at how products are sold, price is always the kind of number one message out there. And that, when a customer finds a price that feels like that it's a good value, low price, you instantly have a high when you make that purchase, like, I got a deal. But that's not long lasting. And what storytelling does is actually build a connection with the customer that allows that high of that purchase to last for a long time. And that's our goal with storytelling, right? We make products with heritage. Our products are thought, every detail of our products are thought in the most special way. The stitching, the colors, the paint that we use, if any, the sourcing and the craftsmanship, and then that product has a story to tell, and it's a beautiful story to tell. And when we're able to tell that story and connect that customer to what she's buying, there's much more to be told about that story. And the cool thing is, once that product is bought by somebody, then there will be many more stories to be told because that product will travel a new life. And so we like to think of a product as, having this long life cycle. And many times it should actually be owned by many different hands. And that goes again to the core of our practices, which is quality is key and the most important, because if we are able to make product that lasts, then that product will travel many, many lifetimes.
I love that as a way of thinking about business, which is that sort of the full product life cycle, which isn't just from sourcing to one consumer, but you're thinking about it, to your point, going from potentially being through various hands as it goes through. Um, as you sort of think about that sort of initial stage, um, from the material sourcing and manufacturing, what are some of the things that you're doing there to improve that process?
So, the number one focus that we just brought up to the forefront of our sourcing is on going to the countries that are experts in a material, and sourcing from those countries. And then step two is manufacturing in those countries as well, because it turns out that um, the expertise around how to make products with that material lies really close to that material. So you think of Italy and the micro industry of leather in Italy, or leather in Argentina, the craftsmanship, the years of heritage, right? The teaching from family to family, from father to son, all of that lies there. And so our number one goal again is quality. And for us to achieve that quality, we go to the source of where the material is best and where the making and craftsmanship is best, and we focus there to achieve that quality. There's a second component, which is sustainability. And so we're entering a new era where there's a lot of investment and R&D going into creating materials that are friendly to the planet, that don't damage the planet when those products end up in landfill, or that actually are upcycling materials that weren't friendly, like plastic, polyester. And so what we are now evolving into is being able to use and actually find those materials so that we can also make our contribution and not only create from scratch from raw materials. And so you'll see in our collections, we have responsible cashmere as part of our collections, traceable alpaca. We are using a lot of upcycled materials, and even we use our scraps to create products with our zero waste collections, where if we use leather and there's scraps left, we'll use the scraps to actually create product and sell it to the customer at a really friendly price. So our goal is to just make the best, most high premium quality product, but also have very minimal impact on planet.
That's incredible. I love the idea of this sort of notion of expertise and really having that at the core of how you're thinking about sourcing and creating those products. And it does create just such a really special story to tell. And then, the way that you talk about even, sort of creating special products that would have, never existed were it not for sort of thinking about that sort of zero waste methodology. It's really incredible. And I know that there's, you've intentionally designed your products to be relevant, for multiple seasons. But I think there's, education plays a really interesting role within the way that you're talking to your customer. And specifically, when you think about helping her make smarter decisions about how she's utilizing a piece within her wardrobe. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how that really sort of works.
How we help her put together her wardrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's we've benefited from having the ability to do this via our digital channel, but also through a retail channel. Physical channel, right, where we're able to actually interact with her in a more intimate way. But the beauty of our collection is that when you look at our core products, they all form a really beautiful closet where all the products go with each other. So naturally, you can't go wrong, right? When you mix and match from our collection. But the second part that we really focus on is on actually putting a lot of investment behind creative and photography, so that we can inspire her to think of products in a different way. I'm wearing this blouse right now that, we can tie it in this way. We can wear it untied. We can tie it with a big bow. You can tuck it in, right? So we play with our photography to be able to give her inspiration so that she can then pick what's right for her. Because the one thing, right, that Cuyana is about is just versatility, and not every woman is the same. We make pieces that dress her up, not that take over her body. And so photography and inspiration are key. That said, we are just actually embarking on the next phase of wardrobing for Cuyana. We have so much information, so much data, and such a deep connection to our customer that we can actually have a more interactive experience with her online, built on actually a lot of the learnings from brick and mortar and retail. And I can't tell you a lot of what's going to happen, but there's a big effort and a lot of exciting stuff launching soon around wardrobing, where we're going to be able to actually make more impact in that phase of the shopping experience.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, I think that's so amazing that there's, all of this information and learnings that you're taking from, the interactions that you're having with individual consumers, and then using that to continue to sort of grow and evolve your business. So that's really fantastic. So I guess just the last thing that I would love to just sort of understand is, you are sort of thinking things through all the way through to facilitating donation and resale as well. And maybe you can talk about how that functions within the context of the business too.
Yeah. Look, and I shared that, the product life cycle shouldn't end with one owner and then in landfill. So, we do two things at Cuyana. Number one is, when you buy a product from us, maybe, you can clear out some of your closet and gift those other products to somebody else who will treasure them. So from the launch of our business, customers are able to donate their pieces. When they purchase from us, they can sign up for our Lean Closet program, where they would send us back a box of their clothing, and we would donate it to an organization that actually helps women who've gone through abuse. And the organization is called Heart, and is based in LA. So that was part one of giving products a second life. Now, part two, which we recently launched, is we've partnered. The second thing now is resale. And so now providing the opportunity to our customers to also be able to sell their pieces and give them a second life. Our goal, again, is we don't want product or clothing to end up in landfill. Product, is discarded without being used many times, and there's so many more lives that it can have. And so we're not only promoting customers to do that with their current products, but also with the Cuyana products by creating this new system, and then doing our part as retailers to actually produce quality product that can actually serve those different lifetimes.
That's amazing. You've clearly created such a thoughtful business model, and so many in every aspect of the product, the way that it's manufactured, the storytelling behind it, and how you're actually serving your customer has been really well considered. So thank you for sharing all this incredible information with us, and excited to keep an eye on Cuyana and what's going to be happening moving forward. So thanks so much, Karla.
Thanks, Scott. Nice seeing you.
Nice to see you as well. Thanks.
Bye.